You're listening to Chapter 11 of The Day Evacuation Order Went Up. Aiko's 6 days before camp. This episode is part of Stories from Camp, a continuing series of Japanese-American narratives told as quiet nighttime historical dramas. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and listen to the next chapter or the whole story on our YouTube channel or your podcast player. If you'd like to hear more, you can explore the rest of the library on our channel. Chapter 11, Night Before the 6 Days Begin. The apartment breathed in a different rhythm that night, as if every room held its own quiet worry. Aiko lay awake on her futon, listening to the gentle rise and fall of the city outside. A streetcar rattled in the distance, its wheels humming along their familiar metal lines. Someone's radio drifted through an open window 2 buildings away, the melody soft and wavering. These sounds had always lulled her to sleep. Tonight they felt like echoes of a world she was drifting away from. She turned onto her side and looked toward the hallway. A dim stripe of light, yellow and thin, spilled beneath the door. Her mother was still awake. Aiko could hear her moving back and forth in the kitchen, checking lists she had checked many times already. Every few minutes a drawer slid open, then closed with a gentle click. Her mother had always found comfort in motion. She pressed order into chaos with her hands. Tonight she pressed order into fear. Aiko sat up quietly and pulled her knees to her chest. The apartment smelled faintly of the stew her mother reheated for dinner, mixed with the dusty scent of boxes stacked along the walls. Shadows pooled in the corners of the room. They made everything feel temporary, as if the walls themselves had loosened their attachment to the family inside. She imagined the house watching them prepare to leave, holding its breath. From the living room she heard the soft rustle of her father settling onto the floor, bedding brushing against the tatami. He had come home later than usual, carrying the exhaustion of the shop on his shoulders. He had said little during dinner, beyond a few reassurances spoken in a quiet voice. Aiko sensed he carried his hope like a fragile object he didn't want to drop. She wished she could ease his burden, but she had already taken on so much from both sides. Her younger siblings slept deeply in their room, unaware of the urgency gathering around them. Their soft snores reminded Aiko of childhood nights when she would sneak into their room and tell stories in whispers to comfort them during storms. She wondered if there were words strong enough to comfort them in the days ahead. She doubted any existed. Aiko rose and walked to the window. She drew the curtain aside and looked out at the patchwork of rooftops. The lights across the neighborhood glimmered like scattered fireflies, growing dimmer as shops closed for the night. She recognized the glow from the bakery, the faint sparkle from the drugstore sign, the flicker from the small shrine lantern. All these places had shaped her days, her seasons, her understanding of who she was. The night breeze moved through the opening with a soft chill. Aiko rested her hands on the window frame and took a slow, steady breath. She felt something shift inside her, not with drama but with a sense of inevitability. She stood on the threshold of the 6 days ahead, knowing she would bear their weight. She would translate documents. She would calm her siblings. She would steady her mother when her voice trembled. She would help her father pack the remnants of the shop into crates that would never return to their shelves. Responsibility had chosen her long before she chose it. She closed the window gently and stepped back into the dark room. The apartment felt fragile now, like a shell they would soon shed. Aiko lay down again, letting her cheek rest against the soft cotton of her pillow. She listened closely to the hum of the city, holding on to each familiar sound with deliberate care. The night wrapped around her in a thin veil, neither comforting nor cruel. Just honest. Before sleep drifted in, she understood something she hadn't realized until now. She had crossed into a new chapter of herself. Not because she wanted to, but because the world had demanded it of her. She felt older. Not grown up in the way she once imagined it, marriages, jobs, travel, but in the way grief and responsibility carve adulthood into a person long before they are ready. In the dim quiet, Aiko's breath steadied. She didn't have answers. She didn't have certainty. But she carried an inner steadiness that did not belong to the girl she had been last week. She closed her eyes. The 6 days waited on the other side of morning. And she would meet them. Thank you for listening to Chapter 11 of The Day Evacuation Order Went Up. Aiko's 6 days before camp. This episode is part of Stories from Camp, a continuing series of World War II Japanese-American narratives told as quiet, nighttime historical dramas. If you like this narrative storytelling, please like, subscribe and listen to the next chapter or the whole story on our YouTube channel. Or your podcast player if you'd like to hear more. You can explore the rest of the library on our channel. And if you're a storyteller or creator who wants to collaborate with us, you can reach out anytime at redressradio.com.